right, so as the title says, yes, I got a kidney infection. And because of that kidney infection, it kind of derailed my YouTube video that I was supposed to post last week, just because I didn't really get any training in. And I was in bed for like 3 days straight with like half a meal each day. But to kind of give you guys a bit of an update, I'm okay now, or I am okay so far, recovering on my antibiotics. The week before that, training was going relatively smooth, right? I was 4 weeks out. I was feeling pretty confident in just my conditioning, my strength, and my cardio going into week 3. The weekend of, I had a big collaboration and opportunity with one of the biggest hotels, I think, in the entire world, which is Four Seasons. So I spent most of my weekend just kind of relaxing, but also training, and also just spending most of, I would say like 80% of my time documenting and filming for that collaboration. A bit about that collaboration. So they essentially gave us an entire suite. Actually, I don't know if I can talk about it, so I might just zip my mouth. But essentially, it was a collaboration, and it was just super, super dope to be a part of. That's kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, too, for me. So I really wanted to kind of just log in and film and make sure I could do the best work possible, if that makes any sense, right? I didn't want to disappoint at all. After that was done, we went home on Monday. I woke up on Monday and I started to feel like something was a bit off. I noticed that there was blood in my urine, and my back was like, I had severe back pain, and I know that I didn't tweak it during a workout or anything like that, because I didn't really work out at all during the week. I didn't really work out during the weekend, right? And for it to kind of have for me to kind of have like a lower back flare up, it was just a little odd. But then the blood in the urine, that kind of really started to set my alarms off. The Tuesday waking up, I started to get a fever, and I didn't know why. I thought, oh, maybe it's just like a common cold, or like, maybe it's COVID, whatever. My back pain continued to get worse and worse. The fevers got worse and worse. I started to get chills. I couldn't eat properly. And I just inherently, deep down inside, I knew something was off, and it wasn't just a cold or just the flu. So I immediately went to the doctors, and I did a blood sample, I did a urine test, and it all came back essentially that I had a bladder infection, which caused the blood in my urine, and that transferred, or that it went to my kidneys as well, the infection, which led to the severe back pain. And that wasn't something I knew, because I totally forget that your kidneys are located in your back, and that's why there's pain there when you have a kidney infection. Because of all that, because of just how sick I was last week, I wasn't able to train. I missed an entire week of training. I think I went back to the gym officially the Thursday of, but even then I was extremely lightheaded. I tried to go for a run and I couldn't, because I was just so weak, having not eaten the entire week, or properly fuel my body for working out two times a day again, right? But now I'm kind of slowly easing my way back in, trying to introduce foods back in now, trying to introduce the workouts slowly. But it kind of puts me in a bit of a predicament, because I'm 2 weeks out of hyrox right now, and I feel like last week was one of my more important weeks of training in terms of running a hyrox sim, which I had to miss as well. So I am a little disappointed with how things are. I mean, what can we do, right? You just got to push through and make the best of it. That is that. But today we're getting back into the swing of things. We're going to go ahead and grab a bite, and then we're going to get to the gym. We're going to run a hyrox workout. We're really just going to try our best to lock in again, and try our best to, pivot and refocus back into the grind, back into hyrox. This week is the week that I need to kind of dial in and lock in and make sure we bring back that intensity and we bring back that level. So without further ado, we're gonna grab a bite, fuel up, and hit the gym, and then we're gonna quickly go over some Credo updates for the rest of the video, and then we'll see what else. And then we'll see what else we have in store. So let's get to it. Can I get this on the first attempt? to all the runs and all the hyrox prep and training 2 to 3 times a day. Carbs, more carbs. Alright guys, so we're back home right now, and I kind of want to walk you through something that I'm doing, kind of like giving you guys a deep dive into actually what I do when it comes to designing for a Credo. So given that we're 2 weeks out of hyrox right now, a lot of the boys that I've met through social media that were on the same team as me when we were all working with ASRV as creators, we all are going to be competing in hyrox Toronto. I want us to be a team. I want us to be a cohesive unit, and I want us all to kind of rep a Credo. And shout out to Kevin Ramirez, who kind of gave me this idea. And we made it happen, by the way, because it's happening right now. But essentially right now, I want to kind of walk you guys through what it is, what it looks like to kind of design an item. Mind you, we kind of like skipped a bunch of steps already, given that I already have the actual product made. But this is more so in terms of kind of figuring out like where we want the logo placements. This isn't like an item that I'm anticipating to sell in the next couple of months, but it is something I do want to incorporate in a future drop. I already have the next couple of drops lined up, but I think right now what we're doing, even though it's only via Credo guys, they're going to be repping this type of jacket and this type of item, this product, it's a stepping stone. Got all my design stuff right there that I'll show you guys in a bit, right? But I have the actual kind of like the branding and the logos and all the messaging and the wording that's gonna be printed on the item over there. But first, we gotta make sure the specifications and the dimensions are correct. And a lot of it right now, to be honest, is just kind of me guessing how big like these logos are gonna be. You know, kind of give you guys like a reference here. So this is essentially what I want on the jacket. Credo Racing Entourage, given that we're going to be competing in hyrox, and then Toronto 2025, given that they're going to be coming in 2 weeks in Toronto in the year of 2025. But this is about 14 inches right now, and I'm just guessing, right? I'm just guessing. I don't know if 14 inches is actually going to look good, but there's really only one way to find out, and that's to kind of take a white piece of paper, print it off, and then tape it onto the jacket. So without further ado, let's print this design out and then let's see if it looks good. Let's do it. I forgot to record, but this is kind of what came out of there. Okay, but I don't know if this is gonna be too big. Fuck, this looks ginormous. But there's only one way to find out, and that's by putting it here. So this is my workstation. This is the product. Yes, it's a track jacket. It's beautiful. I know you guys want it. Don't worry, it's coming. Maybe it's coming, but it's coming. And then we got all the fabric swatches here, different materials with different colors, and it's kind of interesting because like this is like the mesh. These two are together. This is the tight material that we're going to be using for capsule 1. But look at just how many colors I can kind of like use, right, and make. And then we got like the performance tank here too, right? I think for the current drop we're going to be using something like this right here, 52. But I got my eyes on different colors like 34, 65, and maybe even we want to do something more unique, right? Like 80 or 83. So just lots of things that we can do in terms of designing. But back to the jacket, we want to see if this is going to look good. So I was able to save paper. So I'm going to cut this like this and cut this like this. And yeah, let's see. I think it looks a little too big. I'm going to be completely real with you, but let's mount you guys on a tripod and let's see. So what you need to do now is to cut off all your logos. So you see, this is what I mean. We're just going to stick this on. We're going to see if it looks good, right? So, and you don't need to be perfect. Like this is clearly not like a straight cut. Can y'all see that? Y'all cannot see that. Let me bring you in. So this is kind of like what like the final product looks in terms of like the jacket, right? I'm pretty happy with the sizing of the Credo here and then this right here as well. I still got to flip it over and do the actual Credo logo, but I'm not going to show that just because it's pretty much the same thing here. So after you kind of like place it all onto the jacket, right? And then when you're happy with it, what you need to do next is kind of start measuring where exactly the logo is actually going to be placed. So you have the logo, you have the branding dimensions, right? So for me, it's about 14 by, I think like 5, I think it is. Yeah, 14 by, so it's about like 14 this way, and then 4.5 inches this way for the main Credo text there. But what you need to do next is take really detailed photos. So you're going to take one photo of the jacket, just like this, how you want it to look. This is called a mock-up, right? This is what the mock-up of the jacket is going to look like. And then you need to take very detailed measurements, right? For example, you want the design to start 6 inches from whatever collar. And what you can do after you have all these measurements for yourself, you can either send this to your manufacturer or whatever. But what I like to do personally is I like to go on Photoshop and create an entire mock-up and just diagramming it out just so your printer, your manufacturer, whoever isn't confused. Now, in terms of actually like designing pieces and like designing the track jacket as an entire, as its own entity, that's for another day because that's just really, really complicated and we ain't got time for that today.
Turkey chilies.
Alright, so we are back home now. Made some chili, had some amazing chili. So before we end this off, right, at the beginning of the YouTube video, we spoke about how I recently did a collaboration with Four Seasons. You know, Saturday morning, I woke up on the highest floor of Four Seasons, and it really just reminded me of my humble beginnings. Like, there was a period of time in my life where to kind of come from where I come from and to kind of like, it's a little surreal, you know what I'm saying? Like the kid inside of me, right? He wouldn't have ever dreamt of this. He wouldn't even know to dream of things like this. Sometimes when you're so far behind in life, sometimes when you're so focused on other things and just trying to, you know, survive, you're not thinking about luxuries in life. You know, you're not thinking about your dreams. You're not thinking about your next vacation. You're not thinking about these things, right? You're thinking about surviving. You're thinking about what you're gonna eat your next meal. You're gonna be thinking about how you're gonna get your next meal. You're gonna be thinking about how you can make more money to provide or to do what you need to do to kind of get out of the current situation that you're in. And for a very long time in my life, I was in that headspace and I was kind of buried deep inside of it until I found a way to dig myself out. And what really got me through that period of time was absolutely my self-belief. You know, during that time period, I didn't know exactly what I would want to do with my life, but I had such a strong belief in myself to know that I'd be able to get out of the situation no matter what. Like sometimes your self-belief is literally all you need. And there's a quote, right? The distance between where you start and where you end up is only as far as your self-belief. Repeat after me. The distance between where you start and where you end up is only as far as your self-belief. Your self-belief is everything. Self-belief works both ways too, right? You gotta understand that like you can have so much self-belief that you will make it and you will make it, you know, but the other side is also true. You can have so much self-belief that you're not going to make it and something's gonna happen or something wrong is gonna happen, and that's literally going to happen as well, right? Manifestation is a real thing. I'll leave you with that, with a little pep talk. That is that, man. 2 weeks out, baby. So next week is hyrox. So let's log in and I'll catch you guys next time.